John, question to you though. How can attorney's fees and other litigation expenses be allocated to the indemnity?
Well, it may vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. In the first instance, if there is coverage, you would take the position that regardless of how the indemnification for the loss ultimately turns out, there is an obligation to come in and defend. And often what happens is in these cases is there's an allocation like I was talking about before. Sometimes that can't really be determined until the case is tried or settled. But if it's tried, very often what happens is a jury is asked to allocate fault among the various parties. That allocation, that's the answer then to the allocation issue. Ultimately, you have to go try the case to get the final answer. But the jury's determination and allocation of fault can then be used, if it's tried to a verdict, the responsibility for defense costs and the ultimate indemnification. If the case is settled beforehand, which it generally is, the parties, this often becomes a matter of negotiation.
Gary, is there anything you would like to comment on about that, or we can go to another question?
We can go to another question. I think
Okay.
John more than adequately covered it.
Okay, very good. Then, John, a question for you. If an indemnification agreement covers the negligence of the indemnity, and it's ultimately determined in litigation that the indemnity was negligent, may the indemnity nonetheless recover attorney's fees and litigation costs, or the fees and costs allocated in proportion to the indemnity's fault?
That, I think, would vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, but I think the answer to that is yes, provided the indemnification agreement is clear and unequivocal. In every jurisdiction, I think it's necessary to consult the necessary case law, because courts will either provide a formula or principles that they say must be complied with in order to allocate costs and the indemnification obligation to a party that's partially at fault. But if the agreement's drafted properly and provides for that, then the answer to the question is yes, they can be allocated to a party at fault.